Hi, today we're going to be looking at finding the area of a triangle. So here we have two triangles, one is fixed and one has some pieces. We want to be able to find the area of a triangle, and we run into the problem of I don't have complete squares that I can count. So what I want to do is try to transform this triangle into a rectangle and see what happens. Because we know a rectangle's formula is just base times height. So we can see if we can't figure out the formula for triangle based on that. Now the first thing is, let's just count up our base. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And both of these triangles are the same. So now we'll count up the height, remembering that the height is the measurement from the top straight down to the base. It looks like that. This is the height right here. I can see that my height is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Well, 10 times 10 is 100, and that seems like a lot of squares to me. So let's see what happens if we try to transform this triangle into a rectangle. Look at that. And this is just like the rectangle that we had before. And of course, it doesn't matter which way you make your base or your height. When you multiply, you get the same answer. But let's look and see what happened. I'm going to take it back to the beginning. I'm going to put my finger on the base. And let's see if we can figure out what happened to our base. It started out as 10, but when I turn it into a rectangle, it's changed. My base isn't 10 anymore. My base is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, it got cut in half. Let's see what happened to my height, if that changed in any way. So here's my height. I'll put my finger on it, and the height was 10. And if I make it into my rectangle, I can see that my height, it didn't change any. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So my height stayed exactly the same. And we know that 5 times 10 is 50. So the formula, one of the formulas for triangles, is area equals the base cut in half times the height. You'll see this b over 2. It almost looks like a fraction. And what this means is the base divided by 2, or divided in half. And this is one of the formulas for the triangle. Now, the triangle is very special because there's other formulas that go with it. I'd like to show those to you as well. So we'll go back to our original fixed triangle. I will put this right over here for now. Now I have another triangle, but it's going to look different in the end. Here's the triangle. Now we can see that it is congruent. It is the same shape and the same space as this guy. We can test it out to be sure. Yes, they are congruent. They both have a base of 10, and they both have a height of 10. Now, in the last example, the base got cut in half when I transformed it into a rectangle. So let's see what happens with this triangle if I turn it into a rectangle a different way. This time, it doesn't look like my base changed any. It looks like it's my height that changed. So let's look at the base here, and then we'll turn it back into a triangle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. If I turn it back into a triangle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They didn't change. Now this is my height. My height definitely changed when I turned it into a rectangle. My height was 10, but now it's 5. So in this case, it's not my base that got cut in half. It's the height that got cut in half, or divided by 2. So another formula that you could use to get the same answer is area equals the base times the height cut in half, or times the height divided by 2. Believe it or not, there is a third example, a third formula for the triangle, for finding the area of a triangle. I will show that one to you right now. So here we have our original triangle, and we talked in the very beginning where I said 10 times 10 is 100, and this doesn't quite look like 100, does it? What I could do is I could think of this as a triangle hidden inside of a square. So in this case, I have a base of 10 and a height of 10. Well, 10 times 10 is 100. And then I could take that entire number and divide it by 2 and take away half. And 100 cut in half is 50. So another formula that I could use for a triangle to find the area is going to be, if I have area equals the entire base times height divided by 2. And no matter which one of these I use, I will get the same answer. You may ask yourself, why do we have 3 different formulas for just one figure? Well, sometimes it's easier to do the math. When you're cutting an even number in half, it's much easier than an odd number. We can easily figure out what is half of 10. It's a little bit harder to find out what's half of 9. And so this just allows you some choices to figure out what's the easiest one for you to figure out. This is how you figure out the formulas for the area of triangles. And if you want to draw your own, I will show you that now. You can also pause the video at this point and then rewind it and watch it again until each of these makes sense for you. So I will put my name at the top, area of a triangle. Always give it a title, right? Now, one of the tips that I can give you is you're going to have an easier time in the beginning doing the math if you just choose even numbers. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and so on. It's just going to be easier at first. Once you get more comfortable drawing and doing the math with this, then you can use some different numbers. So to start off with, I'm just going to stick with my even numbers. So my first triangle, I think I will do a base of 6. So I am going to put my dot here, and then I'm going to count over 6 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, to draw the height, I want to make sure that I go to the middle of my triangle. So to do that, I move my fingers over 1 square at a time until they meet in the middle, right here. Then from here, I'll count up my height. And I'll make my height, let's do 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that's a cute little triangle. And now I can just use my straight edge and connect the dots. There's one side and another side and the base. And again, when I label, I like my height to have a dotted line. So in this case, I remember that my base is the number 6 and my height 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember to count all the way up to that top. It's 4. And to start off with, I'm going to use this formula. I'll do maybe 5 or 10 of this formula, and then I'll show you how you would then do 5 or 10 more of this formula. So, in this case, area equals the base cut in half times height. Area equals, my number for the base is 6. 6 divided by 2 times 4. And then down here, 6 divided by 2, or what is 6 cut in half, or half of 6? Well, half of 6 is 3. So I'll put 3 times 4, and then area equals 3 times 4 is 12. 12 squares. There's one more step in this one than there is in the parallelogram and rectangle. So this is how you would draw the triangle to cut your base in half. If we were to do the exact same triangle, but I'll show you this formula right here. So I'll come down here and I'll give myself a base of 6. Come into the middle and count up 4. Right there. Here's my height. Now for this one, my height, to cut it in half this way, 1, 2, 1, 2. So I can draw this line right here. So you can see, remember in the other movable piece where these two pieces came down like this. So the formula for this one, A equals base times height cut in half. So my base is 6. My height is 4 over 2 because it's 4 divided by 2. So half of 4 is 2. So 6 times 2, area equals 12 squares. Circle it, and there's my answer. And that is how I draw this formula.